If Zoey 101 was remembered for anything, it had to have been their TV specials, Chasing Zoey, Goodbye Zoey, Merry Christmas Drake and Zoey. Obviously some of those aren't real, but you get the picture.
Zoey 101, tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central, only on Nick.
The double episodes are iconic, and I've been doing more videos on how they had these two-part special events because they mattered a lot to us growing up. Zoey 101 started from the second season and ended up having some of the most memorable episodes being these two-part series. So I wanted to dive into all the special events that this show had to offer. So let's do it, guys. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, focusing on 2000s movies, TV, music, and so much more. Today, we're diving into the double episodes of Zoey 101. To start off, there wasn't many two-part episodes in the first season, so we actually have to start at the second season with Spring Breakup.
Nick Exclusives goes behind the scenes of the new TV movie Zoey 101 Spring Breakup.
Action!
What's going on with the PCA crew?
Chase sends a message to Zoey that he doesn't mean to send to her.
She hasn't read it yet, and I'm trying to sneak her tech mate away from her.
So, what about that banging crib?
It's so pretty up here.
I think my favorite part of the beach house is the backyard. It's got a huge pool.
Spring Breakup, a Zoey 101 TV movie event, coming to Nick Friday, March 10th at 8. This has been an exclusive from Nickelodeon.
See you guys later.
So I've gotten this wrong a couple times, and I'm probably gonna get it wrong a couple times again. I thought this was the season finale of season 2, but it turns out to just be episodes 10 and 11. Spring Breakup. This was such a big deal when I was a kid. Not only did it perfectly coincide with when we actually had spring break, but it was supposed to be the moment that Chase actually told Zoey she liked him. And it's all kind of hidden in this subplot as the kids go on this reality TV show.
It's the perfect time for you to tell Zoey you love her.
Man, when are you gonna stop with that?
So Zoey starts out on the computer, which she hasn't really been since the beginning of the season. Like in the first season, there was her communicating to her friends and family through the computer, and I don't know why it has to happen here. She's explaining that they're going to Logan's, essentially cutting out the idea that we have in Act 1 and lead into why they're going to Logan's. Like they're just talking about how they're just gonna go.
His dad's this major TV and movie producer, so the place is supposed to be like amazing.
Hopefully this makes up for the first season finale, which was just Little Beach Party, and I hated that. It didn't feel like it was anything interesting. This is going to be exciting. It's a cool concept off the bat, but it's kind of weird that there's no build up to it. And this is like the first time the characters are leaving PCA, which makes it a really notable episode. And for being Alexa Nicholas's last episode, it's also very nostalgic to watch, despite the fact I'm really upset the way they treated her. It's clear that Chase is trying to impress Zoey on this trip.
Ah, cologne!
No, it's medicine. For pimples.
Well, you must have some pretty sweet smelling pimples.
Like, Michael makes it important that he tells Zoey he likes her, but he's nervous because he doesn't want to wreck their friendship, which is, it's getting to be too much of an excuse at this point, Chase. You have to say something or you're just lying to her.
What if I tell Zoey I love her, and she doesn't love me back? I mean, that'll make things so awkward between us. It could wreck our friendship forever.
But if she does love you back, then she'll become your girlfriend and you'll be happy, Chase, forever.
It's not worth the risk.
It is a good point. I feel like when we were that age, we definitely used friendship as a way to get out of relationships, whether we wanted to be in them or not. Some of us that used it as a form of, I don't want to be with this person, so I'm gonna say I just want to be friends. And then there were people that actually wanted to not lose friendship. They just prioritized friendship over relationships in their life. Like, a relationship isn't an upgrade, it's a downgrade for them. Meanwhile, I kind of see a relationship as something deeper than a friendship, but that's also just my perspective. But you could see why one wouldn't want to demote the other. Logan says he has a surprise for when they go to his dad's beach house, and I am terrified. Logan's surprises in the past have been very dangerous. So they're in Santa Barbara, and they meet Logan's dad, and the house is incredible. Like, Logan is truly a part of the 1%.
This is where you grew up?
No. I grew up in a really big house in Beverly Hills. We spent summers here.
Turns out they're actually testing a new reality show. Oh yeah, his dad's a film producer, okay. And it's about the gender wars, which is kind of perfect because everything that goes on within the Zoey 101 universe is based on gender.
Before you can make a TV show, you have to test it. And that's what you guys are going to do.
I'm getting very child labor vibes. Like, they're not getting paid, but they're going to be the test dummies for a whole new reality show.
You're going to be pitted against each other in a series of competitions that's going to test you on 3 levels: mental, physical and creative.
Yeah, I don't know about the film industry. Logan's dad gives the kids these things called tech mates, which is essentially a cell phone.
Well, they're a cell phone, address book, MP3 player.
They do emails, text messaging, web access.
Since they didn't have it back then, it was kind of a big deal. A new sign of independence where a kid could be in charge of their own communication. And I do like when Zoey 101 leans into the technology. It makes the plots a lot more interesting. So each of the teams have a team captain. Surprise, surprise, Zoey and Chase. Feels a little bit like the elections episode, but we're gonna move on from that.
And I'll be the guy's team captain.
Well, I think that Chase should be our team captain.
Okay, then we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor of
Chase.
Michael argues with Chase that this is the exact perfect time to tell Zoey he likes her, but I don't agree, Michael. I feel like if we're about to start a game show, this is not the appropriate time. Like, especially if she rejects him, like, we don't have time for that. So Michael and Chase are arguing, and Chase is just like, no, I'm not gonna. Even sends him a text message saying, I'm not gonna tell her I love her.
If I tell Zoey I love her, it could wreck our friendship.
In the unnecessary B-plot, Quinn is making an energy drink, and I don't know why they let her bring all of her equipment to Logan's house.
It'll give you 17 times more energy than any other drink on the market.
So, is it ready?
Not yet. It's too powerful.
It's kind of funny to think that they end up dating, and this is how they spent their first time meeting Logan's dad. Let's move on from that. So she invents this energy drink and leaves all of her stuff behind for Dustin to find it and drink it. Oh, okay, so Dustin gets a plot. It's not necessary, but it's a plot.
Yeah, I love this. It's like climbing stairs, but it never stops.
The next morning, Chase realizes that he texted Zoey instead of Michael, saying that he loved her.
Who did I send it to?
Zoey.
Zoey? Zoey? Oh my god! Oh my god!
So Chase and Michael are freaking out, and I would be too. If I was in that position where I accidentally told somebody I liked them without intentionally setting it up, I would be like, oh my god. Like, as a viewer, I felt anxiety for Chase. Like, this is well justified to freak out like this. Ugh, if I could go back in time, though, I would just tell her in person when I had the chance. But you know what? That would have been 2 seasons ago, Chase. I just think if you like somebody, you should tell them, and even if it's a rejection, at least it's something, and you have a better relationship regardless. And if you're not friends anymore, it's just not meant to be. You can't push something like that. But this show did teach me a lot about relationships, and I will never be Chase.
Message unread. She hasn't seen it yet.
You sure?
Yes!
So Chase sets out to try to get the phone back before Zoey can look at the message. Then we get to the actual reality TV show part of this.
Our 3 judges.
I don't know how the dad got so many judges to show up at his house for this test trial. Like, it seems like it's supposed to be in a studio if you're doing it. Chase manages to get Zoey's phone, delete the text, but he can't give her phone back. How does she not notice this? The first challenge is a scavenger hunt, and I wish this had a little bit more plot. Like, it feels like the scavenger hunt and all of this extra activities are just a layer for what we really care about, and it's Zoey and Chase's relationship.
You're the fastest. You take these numbers to Chase so we can open the safe.
I'm not the fastest when he's all full of frass. We got him bouncing around.
Yeah, give me those.
Go, kid!
The text message, the combination to Zoey. Quinn, you're brilliant. Just do it. Okay.
The girls realize that Chase had Zoey's phone the whole time, and they think that he cheated. When they confront him in front of everybody, he cannot admit why he sent the text message, and I personally would have admitted it at this point. I cannot believe he wouldn't stand up for himself here.
Just tell me why you took it and I'll believe you didn't cheat. Tell me why.
See? I told you. He cheated.
I can't believe you do this.
Zoey confronts him and is like, if you're not cheating, why would you delete a text message? He tries to reason with her, but she just rejects him. And I would too, Chase. You're being really shady, especially considering in other seasons you tried to figure out her test results just to get closer to her. Like, this guy's a red flag altogether. Just tell her.
I can't.
Ugh, whatever. And they essentially break up as friends, which is so funny because you think it's gonna be like they get together and break up, but no, they are not friends anymore. Of course you're not gonna be friends anymore, Chase. You earned it. The next challenge is to make these nerdy looking adults cool.
He's 26 years old and has never kissed a girl.
I feel like this has to be offensive a little bit. They pretty much make over all these guys, and the team with the most attractive person by the end of it wins, which is super materialistic if you ask me. They end up going through with it, and the girls win, making a tie between the two. The judges are like, oh my god, what do we do with a tie? But you had to have seen this coming.
We have a tie.
Zoey and Chase have this really uncomfortable distance between them, which only escalates when it's time for the final match between both of the team captains. Of course, it's Zoey and Chase.
Try to knock each other off the pedestal and into the water.
First one to be knocked into the water 2 times loses.
With the other cast of characters staying on the sidelines, and they're able to kind of squirt their water guns, but you know they're not doing much. There's a lot of emotional tension as to who is going to fall, but if we know Chase from the election episode, of course he's going to do it on purpose. Apparently the events of the last few days were recorded, and they used this as a full pilot, so all the kids are going to end up on TV, making this like a really happy ending, I guess.
All the events were filmed by hidden camera. Take a look around.
How close are we gonna be on TV? You know the best part about being on TV is that
Dustin ends up passing out from the energy drink, and that wasn't a plot at all. Like, at least incorporate the energy drink to happen to one of the other characters during the reality TV show part. I mean, it feels like the reality TV didn't even need to happen. So Chase and Zoey end up making up by the water fountain, but Chase still doesn't take the opportunity to tell her he likes her. So frustrating for everybody who cares about these people. And her hair, I just noticed, is a lot more curlier in this. The entire second season thus far has been darker hair, but not curly yet. And this is kind of initiating a new era because she starts wearing it curly all the time after this season. It feels a lot like the school dance episode where they kind of admitted that Chase liked her, and I don't know why it's a secret here, but he does it. He makes the decision to tell her, and he texts it to her. Oh, but even funnier enough, Zoey left her tech mate at the water fountain, meaning that it fell in after Chase's text sent, destroying the phone, and Zoey never finds out that he likes her. Wow. Crazy episode ending. I don't know how they managed to pull off a romance not starting this long. Like, we're 26 episodes in, or 25 or something, and they still didn't end up together. It's not even a will they, won't they, it's a will he, won't he, because she is not giving much to work with. Not only did she lie on multiple occasions, but she openly doesn't bring up the fact that he might like her. Like, it's so clear that he's giving that impression. So they're either liars and perfect for each other, or they are complete opposites and are never gonna get on the same page. Either way, I don't really want to promote this toxic of a connection, and I hate that this is kind of like the whole backbone of the show, because when they lean a little bit more episodic and get into these short stories and get into the more sitcom plots, it's a lot more fun and we get chemistry between the characters. But if anything, Chase and Zoey's relationship makes it not genuine.
Okay. The message is...
But I don't know, ending on this note for season 2 is kind of nice because it's like they proved once again they could hit the reset button and give us more of the same episodes, but for me it does feel like it's stalling the progression of the show.
But everything changes when we hit the 3rd season, when we have more than a few 2-part episode specials.
Okay, now it's time to get scary. It's time for some spooky music and a flashlight under the chin because PCA has a ghost story. The Curse of PCA, a 2-part episode, special 1 hour long. And it aired in October 2007, embracing the Halloween spirit fully. It was a wild departure from Zoey 101's like usual sunny realism and plunges into a supernatural adventure, which controversially is not a good thing. It definitely was paced in a way that I was not comfortable with. Like, you expect so much to go down in this episode, but I'm telling you, it's hard to even believe this is about a curse until you're like 30 minutes into it, I swear. The plot revolves around an old PCA legend of a student named Charles Galloway who was stressed by an impossibly hard test, ran off into the hills above campus, and was never seen again. Supposedly, he left behind a very powerful necklace that perhaps has a curse with it. And of course, the gang is up for adventure, especially when it has nothing to do with their daily lives.
Lola says he can lead us up there no problem. And that he's super cute. Her words.
They hike to this cursed spot, and then a giant storm happens, and things start to go wrong. Like, the phones die, compasses spin, and the thunderstorm has, like, freaky green lighting, showing that they disturbed Charles Galloway's necklace. Oh, because they found it. Yeah, that's what happened.
And don't even think about trying to steal it, because we're gonna frisk you. Everywhere.
It's like veering into Scooby-Doo or like Are You Afraid of the Dark territory the way it's going. It's like a strong fantasy plot that's differentiating from the whole series concept. And Zoey's always been grounded up until this part. I mean, aside from Quinn's sci-fi technology, this whole special pushes that aside and is like, okay, let's just have an outlandish episode. They all have like a different experience when they all go out to the desert, and I wish this happened more so at night because it would have been a creepier vibe. We got Logan, who is like the treasure seeker and actually steals the necklace. Classic Logan. As they they head back to PCA. They think they've left Charles Galloway behind, but that's when he starts coming up in really unexpected and terrifying ways. The great part is like how the characters are reacting to it.
It was Don't say it! Ghost! It was the ghost of Charles Galloway!
Like Zoey becomes like this reluctant heroine because she actually breaks her ankle. That's why she's convinced it's real. Chase and Michael try to carry her out of the desert, and even Quinn, without fear, leads the charge to set things right. It's a nice flip because it used to focus on just Chase saving Zoey, but it's nice that like all the characters are kind of involved from now on.
We gotta go help him! You help him! What, the three of you are just gonna let me go in there alone? Yes!
And Zoey at least is a little integral in solving the situation, despite being injured. And I like that she has like something to overcome throughout this. It makes me more worried for her, especially when we feel like there's a curse going on. It's beyond me why it takes the whole first part of this episode to establish all of this. It's out of 60 minutes, 30 of it is Act 1, 20 of it is Act 2, and then they just do Act 3 in 10 minutes. It feels like so disorienting in terms of storytelling. And it's hard to tell if the curse is like real or just like a coincidence. The episode kind of plays it as if there are real supernatural happenings, a bold choice for a teen show. And even though there's like kind of a morality tucked in, it still feels like it's a failed attempt to scare the viewer. The only message they're trying to tell is don't take things from somebody's resting place. Like, it's good advice, but like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the episode actually reflects what it's trying to set out to do. It's kind of an exercise in trust with the characters themselves, maybe? Like, they joke about the ghosts at first, but then when things actually get scary, they stick together. The stupidest part of it, though, is when Zoey sees the dead ghost on the nurse's butt. Like, I'm just like, why do you guys have to go there?
Did you call me buttface?
I'm sure they want to convince Zoey and make her look crazy, but like, this is not the way to do it, guys. It's so awkward. Culturally, this is like a love letter to the Campfire Tales stuff. Oh, apparently the episode was reportedly going to be titled Skull Rock, which would have been really interesting. Campy B-movie vibe. One of the things that was like really interesting is that Zoey was not actually available for a lot of the episodes, so the writers actually put her in a bucket. Yeah, they had her wear a bucket for most of the episode, and it was a part of the story, and they used a body double.
Why does Zoey have a bucket on her head?
So it's essentially Zoey's animated in this. She's not actually in it and voices herself. If you rewatch, it's like not that hard to tell. Even my friends seeing this with me automatically knew that this was not good.
Get this stupid bucket off my head!
Ultimately, it's interesting that it took us out of the comfort zone, but watching it now, it's a little too campy, and it brings back a weird thrill that Stranger Things did way better, and I just don't like abandoning the entire tone of the show. Like, that's how I felt about the Sweet Life and Big Time Rush movies based off their shows. Like, they got sci-fi, and Zoey 101 going from like a comedy drama to a horror is kind of nuts to me. I feel like Chase and Zoey feel less and less like a relationship, and there wasn't actually any grounded situations except for the fact that like they didn't trust Logan and everybody was like kind of going against each other, but not even as much as the Zoey Ribs episode. All around, a confusion nonetheless.
Friday,
I might be leaving.
in a brand new Zoey 101 movie,
What are you gonna do?
Zoey faces the biggest decision of her life.
We can't let Zoey leave.
Should she stay or should she go?
Chase doesn't know about this yet?
There's something I gotta talk to you about.
When you leaving?
That's all you have to say?
Zoey cared about your opinion the most. If you had said don't go, she'd still be here. I'm an idiot.
Find out in a brand new Zoey 101 movie. Goodbye Zoey, premiering on Nick Friday night at 8.
Oh my god!
Zoey?
I'm sorry, my parents are here.
Goodbye Zoey is really something to talk about because it takes Zoey 101 to a level that I never wanted. Chase is beyond weird in this in ways that I've never seen him thus far, which is crazy because I thought the show was getting a lot better, you know? We start with nice cinematic shots of PCA and Zoey on her laptop like she did at the end of Spring Break and like she did at the end of season 1. It's just always Zoey on her laptop, I swear. It starts out as a pretty normal episode, not really obvious that it's a season finale. Zoey gets a message during class that her parents are here to visit, something that she's super excited about and not worried at all about her grades because she just leaves during it. And she's so rude on her way, she just expects everybody to get her there as quick as possible. It reminds me of one of those getting to your flight before the love interest gets away type scenario. And there they are, the blonde family, and they've got surprising news.
Are you having a baby? Mom! No!
No.
Oh, babies. No babies, right?
That they are going to be moving to England, and that Zoey and Dustin can come if they want. Dustin doesn't want to because he's got a girlfriend, which Zoey quickly corrects to tell him that they're not actually together, which I find super funny. It reminds me how much I miss Dustin this season. I feel like he was so much more prominent in the first 2 seasons, and it sucks that the peak season is the one that he is like the least engaged in. Like, at least get one more experiment that Quinn can do on him, you know? Like, give him something to do. So Zoey tells her friends this whole thing without having made a decision yet, and obviously they're very distraught. Quinn is defending her the whole time because she's actually just trying to be supportive of Zoey, which I respect, but her friends are a little bit more defensive about the fact that she's leaving.
And do whatever Chase says.
You know he's gonna tell her to stay.
Exactly.
Stacy overhears this and becomes kind of a snake, leaks it to one of the reporters at the school just to get it on TV, which is like, come on, Stacy. I know you were like unlikable, but at least just have some positive traits.
When is Zoey leaving? Where's Zoey going? She's leaving PCA. To go where? Some boarding school in London?
That's in England.
Mark gets to Chase first, asking if he's upset that Zoey is leaving, and obviously Chase thinks that she made this decision without him.
Zoey didn't tell you? No, she didn't.
When did this happen before? This was the exact plot of the middle episode of this season, The Radio, when Chase gives Zoey the radio, doesn't know how much it's worth, she finds out before him, and then he assumes the worst of her, and then they end up in a huge argument, and then they get snippy with each other because one expected something over the other, and it's like, guys, this exact thing is copy and pasted here. Chase is kind of just peeved. Zoey shows up at his dorm, tries to talk to him about it, but he just acts super cold. He's like throwing darts, he's like, oh yeah, heard you're leaving, great, don't hit yourself on the way out. And there's a Death Cab for Cutie poster in Chase's dorm? I didn't even realize that they were promoting this. Zoey's off put by Chase's response, kind of convincing her to leave.
Well, see, I wanted to talk to you.
When are you leaving?
Could you stop throwing darts?
No, I gotta tune up, but keep going, I'm listening.
And her friends are even more heartbroken because they relied on him to ask her to stay, knowing that she definitely would if he asked, and she tells him it didn't happen. Michael tries to get through to Chase by talking to him, but it just doesn't work out. And I like that this isn't repeating the older tropes they used to do, where it was like Michael telling Chase he needs to tell Zoey he likes her. Like, this is telling her he needs to stay. It's not super based on feelings toward one another, at least at first. Chase is still in a rotten mood, and Zoey just seems like she doesn't care either. And as she's heading off with her blonde family, she gets one moment with every character to say goodbye. Every character except you know who. So Chase didn't even show up to her send-off, which I would be really angry even further if this happened to me. Like, you could at least say goodbye. I don't know why Chase is this petty that he needs to put up this facade. Like, your best friend is literally leaving. I don't care what you feel toward her.
Zoey left. Oh yeah, today was the day. Hey, listen, do you think you can help me with my serve? Because if we're gonna win this tournament, I really need it.
Later, Michael actually confronts Chase again and is finally able to get through to him like, hey, you made a mistake. She didn't intend on leaving until you told her to. And Chase is like, oh God, I'm an idiot. So next thing you know, Zoey's on a plane and Chase is regretting it immediately. This whole miscommunication lasted way more than one episode. I remember the promotions for this gave me the impression this was the series finale of the show. I mean, Goodbye Zoey. I really like this as almost like a series finale anyway, so it bothers me they didn't kind of lean into that. And with every character having their moment with Zoey, like, I'm fully convinced this is where it ends. Like, don't give me this sentimental moment if it's just gonna be them back in the same scene next time.
In case you guys need an extra key to the room. Thanks, Zoey.
Chase is trying so hard to apologize to Zoey, but obviously he can't get to the airport, he can't get to England, so he's gonna video chat her. He finally gets to reconnect with Zoey, explain his whole side of the story, and she's kinda not here for it. Like, she doesn't want to hear it. He already disrespected her, which is fair. I agree with you, Zoey, but in return, you should come back. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Chase expects her to just come back. Like, I don't know why he thought for a second that's how it would work. He essentially gets thrown off the deep end trying to figure out how he's gonna feel about this whole situation, if he can even adjust to life at PCA like this.
Can you hear anything?
And you know what? This is where it gets insane. Chase brings this girl named Gretchen, another blonde that looks exactly like Zoey. Like, this has got to be like her body double or something. Chase keeps bringing this girl that clearly doesn't even want to be there. And he doesn't even seem like he likes her. He just seems like projecting onto her everything he wish he could have done with Zoey. He even gives her a key, which she does not care about, to try to replicate what Zoey had. And that's where it gets a little psychotic.
Now you'll always have your key. Maybe later we could paint it together.
This is stupid.
All right, to Sushi Rocks.
I hate sushi.
Logan and Michael are super concerned for him, and I would be too. There's not really a B plot in this, but we do get a funny moment aside from the plot where Stacy moves in with Lola and Quinn to assume that Zoey really is gone for good.
Then I went to my roommates and I said, would you girls be upset if I moved out of here and in with Quinn and Lola? And before I even finished the question, they were helping me pack my stuff.
Chase calls Gretchen the Gretch, and I don't know if that sounds like some kind of discontinued Muppet character, but it's not Jamie Lynn Spears, I'll tell you that much. I guess the friends realize they should be having an intervention for him because things are just way off of his rockers, and if I were them, I would have thought this has gone too far and moved out of Chase's room. And then we kind of get the moment we've all been waiting for throughout this entire series, and that's kind of how you know Chase isn't going to end up on the show much longer, because why would they throw out his whole storyline? Because the character leaves. I know he mentioned in a podcast recently that he wanted to go back to school, or his father wanted him to go back to school, which kind of seems like a bad reason, but for me, I'm like, wow, that's like such a more worthwhile experience than being on the set of this show. So good for Chase for getting out of it. But while the boys confront Chase about Gretchen and how he's using her to replace Zoey, the webcam is recording, so Zoey actually is able to hear this whole conversation. And this is one of the craziest things. He admits how much he's in love with her on screen.
I don't just miss her. I'm in love with her. I've been in love with Zoey ever since I met her.
Is there any crazier way to end a season? You know what? Zoey 101 gets a little bit of credit for this, although I feel like it's not as quality as any other show ever. This is definitely how you do a really good season finale. Like, could you imagine waiting for something like this? Like, these answers are so important, and I need them right now. There we go. End of season 3. I wish it ended the show. That would have made people mad. It would have been like really annoying not to get the closure here, but it would have been better than the entire 4th season, which I guess we're gonna have to get into soon. Let's enjoy the fact that we got through this whole 3rd season of 26 episodes. Definitely one of the longer chunks I've had to do on a Nickelodeon show specifically. But yeah, how do you guys remember feeling about this finale? I feel like when we think about Zoey 101 in retrospect, we definitely remember this part the most. And I wish it did end here. We got really good moments with Zoey and the rest of the cast. If anything, that second part is what kind of undid all the things that made it meaningful and then turned it into one big joke. I mean, up until the very end, of course. I know from a production standpoint, this isn't considered a double or even triple part episode, but the fact that this first episode takes exactly where the season finale of 3 left off, I had to count it, especially the commercial. It makes it seem like it was this big event, so I had to break a few rules to put it in this video.
It was the Zoey 101 that changed everything.
It's okay that you miss Zoey.
I don't miss Zoey. I'm in love with her.
Some things are easier to say when you're an ocean away. But Sunday night, Zoey's back.
I gotta go talk to Chase.
Wait, don't! Not yet! Mark! Find Zoey and stall her.
Install her how?
We gotta get to the guy's dorm before Zoey does.
There's just one question. Where's Chase?
Just tell her.
I'm not telling. You're her roommates. You guys tell her. Zoey! Chase isn't here.
If he's not here, where is he?
Find out in a full hour of Zoey 101. Brand new back-to-back episodes premiere Sunday night starting at 8 in Teen Nick.
Okay, so season 4 of Zoey 101 starts with an episode called Trading Places. And unlike previous season premieres before, it's the only one that the characters aren't literally walking onto campus being like, new semester. Not sure if you were caught up on the drama of the previous season, but there was this whole Goodbye Zoey incident where Chase said that he loved Zoey Zoey over a webcam and she overheard it. Being the heroic romantic he is, which is sarcasm, I think his crush on Zoey is borderline scary with how much she gives him back. He ends up going all the way to England to meet up with her. Turns out she's gone by then. We kind of hop in right where we left off, which is kind of cool. It almost feels like a third part of the two-part finale. And we see Lola, Quinn, Michael, and Logan all playing basketball.
Here I come. Hey, foul!
Zoey makes her grand return to PCA in a car, and they're basically like, what the heck? Lola takes Quinn's glasses and cannot believe her eyes. If this were me though, I would be kind of insulted. Like, if you were really my friend, you would definitely have been able to tell me over the phone or over text that you are gonna return to school. It feels kind of cold that you just show up one day and you're like, by the way, best friend I've known for my entire life. I went through a grieving move process because it shouldn't be that easy to just come back from another country. And they're like so excited to see her. They don't care about the disrespect, I guess. I'm sure that they just knew that kids wouldn't care about something like this. Like, friends are just supposed to take from where they left off, which I don't know. I think I would be communicatively challenged in this moment. Everything's different though because Chase isn't here. Zoey tells the girls that she heard Chase admit her love and is basically here to see them. They're like kind of visibly shaken, and we learn that they're trying to stall her for as long as humanly possible, which I don't know how long you're planning on stalling her, guys. They try to warn Michael and Logan about Zoey coming over, but it doesn't work because they're playing with their helicopter. So they have to rely on Mark, Quinn's boyfriend. The worst possible person. He ends up even pushing Zoey. Like, that's the only way you could distract her. I like that Mark is becoming more of a main character. It just kind of feels like a band-aid to the fact that Chase isn't here anymore. I'm not sure if you guys heard the podcast, but the actor playing Chase, Sean Flynn, was actually on the Ned's Declassified podcast and told them that he left because he wanted to go back to school, which I think is really admirable. His dad kind of prompted him to go back, and it didn't seem like a great thing at the time because obviously he was on a hit show, but it was definitely important for his development and education, I guess. They fail to stall her, nearly like fighting out the window, trying to keep this a secret. And then we're cut to England where Chase is looking for Zoey. It's revealed right then that Chase is not back this season, but it's cool that we get to see a glimpse of him. They basically traded places, thus the title of the episode. Zoey feels like kind of betrayed, and the two meet up over video chat to kind of discuss it. And this would break my heart. I feel like when I was at this age, if I had a crush, my biggest fear would be them moving away or have a relationship finally connect and you're actually leaving. Like, that's just, to me, that's like the ultimate love drama. And that's kind of what they're going through. The only way they could talk is through the internet, and it is very topical for this day and age. Although Zoe's shot looks really fake. It looks like there's no way that that's a real video call on her end. Same with Chase. I feel like if they knew what video chatting was supposed to look like, it would be a lot more casual than this polished, framed square, I guess. It does remind me of the photo booth that used to be on the Mac computers in the Apple store. I don't know if you guys grew up going to the mall and hanging out, taking pictures, but that's what that reminds me of. Chase and Zoey actually attempt to go on a real date at Sushi Rocks, but Zoey brings her laptop and Chase is just on his computer at night. Definitely Uvu vibes here. There's a lot of technical issues, so Chase kind of has to guide his way through the date with tech support, which has a really thick accent and I find kind of offensive looking back. Like, you didn't have to put on that accent. Plenty of people do phone support that aren't that race. Chase kind of looks like a psycho on Zoe's side of things. If you see any of the shots, it's kind of funny. He keeps being badgered by his roommate who's trying to go to sleep, which I feel bad for him because there's like such a big time difference. Like, it's so hard to maintain some kind of long distance relationship like this. And everybody in the cast starts to feel the pressure as Zoey needs to call on Lola and Quinn to help just keep the computer going. And Zoey's just trying to keep this relationship. It's kind of sweet because it's like seeing Zoey and Chase try to be together, but I still feel like now that she's confronted with the fact he loves her, she's not giving him the same energy back. Like, she's not like, I love you too. She does say I love you too right before they click off on their date, but I don't think it's enough. Like, Zoey, you've not put any work into this relationship, and finally when you're like across the globe from each other, then you're gonna act like you care. And she's like barely even trying. Like, she's getting everybody else around her to help her. Like, I don't know. I don't think this relationship's worth it. Sorry, Chase, and sorry, Zoey. It's just not working for me. But yeah, interesting start to the 4th season.
PCA history, and everyone's falling hard.
lost my balance.
Hey!
Hearts aren't the only things getting broken.
Awesome!
Hey, man.
Ow!
In the brand new movie, Chasing Zoey, premiering next Friday at 8, only on Nick.
So episodes 12 and 13 are Chasing Zoey Part 1 and Chasing Zoey Part 2. So everybody's getting ready for summer, talking about their plans, and apparently Zoey's going to be going to Hawaii to be a cabana girl. I don't know why you're not aiming higher, like something academic, but I guess this is good for you, Zoey. And meanwhile, James can't go with her because he's working with his dad over the hardware store. A really unnecessary backstory that was added to James in the diner episode that I don't think we need to revisit. Meanwhile, they're playing this really ridiculous game that everybody puts their finger in this little device and it shocks you. Kind of reminds me of playing Operation when you're trying to take out all the body parts from the guy without getting zapped. That was a throwback. In Michael's subplot, he reveals to Lisa his new car that's a stick shift, and she's like, you don't know how to drive it? And I vaguely remember this premise. Like, I remember when I was learning to drive thinking that stick shifts were different because of something in teen TV, and I definitely think this must have been it. So maybe that's what we're going for here. In the meantime, everybody's getting ready for this prom, and Lola is so excited because she is going to be the one in charge of it, and she asks Quinn to do everything for her, which is kind of disrespectful. Quinn can't do the prom committee, so she can only find Stacy to help her. Lola gives her assignments that more so have to do with her personal life so she could work on the prom stuff, which isn't technically an incorrect thing. Like, I get you need more time to do it, but I don't think you're supporting the prom by doing Lola's chores. I don't know, Stacy. Meanwhile, Logan is telling Quinn that he asked somebody to the prom in order to like kind of make it look like they're not together. She obviously gets really angry. Meanwhile, James has good news. He wants to go to Hawaii with Zoey. It's really sweet because she also gets a necklace and he says, I love you with it. I don't know if you noticed, but right before he gives it to her, she's on iCarly.com. Like, look at this screenshot. Oh my gosh, it's not subtle at all. Meanwhile, Michael really wants to learn how to do a stick shift, but doesn't know how until this random old man comes by and he serves as like this Mr. Miyagi type, trying to teach him how to do a stick shift, kind of like it's a super big karate dojo type situation.
That's very nice, but
You want to drive stick shift?
yeah, but
You wish me to teach you?
sure.
When Zoey gets the bracelet, she's a little bit conflicted about it because we get a blackout, and usually don't get a blackout unless you should be scared of something happening. Zoey is nervous to say she loves him back, and Lola and Quinn are really annoyed about it. They're like, how could you not? And it's like, okay guys, give her a break. And then Michael finally gets his first lesson with this really scary guy that keeps appearing in the parking lot.
What?
You cannot learn to drive a stick shift until you learn to drive a stick shift.
He asks him to make him food for him, as if it's gonna be a part of the stick shift situation, and he does it anyway. I don't know why you'd believe them, Michael. I'd be scared of this man. Quinn decides she's going to take helm of who Logan will take to the dance. They both have to bargain of like who it's gonna be, and it's definitely a funny trope. I can't believe they're still trying to hide this relationship. I didn't think it would go on for like 6 episodes. I thought there was like some amount of time where we actually did see them together, but I guess it was all in hiding because nobody here knows. James even spots the two and they keep it a secret, so they're still ashamed. What can you do? We get a peek into his plot because apparently he can't find Zoey. She's not meeting at their usual places, which is kind of sad because they're kind of a good couple. I feel like they were really working out for what they were, and seeing Zoey so spooked when she finds out that he loves her is definitely scary. This old man invites himself into Michael's dorm and gets him to feed him once again, and he's stepping on berries in this moment. Like, why does Michael have to step on berries to make him juice? Like, this doesn't really help anybody. It's definitely reminding me of the Mr. Doheny episode of Drake and Josh, where they keep inviting himself into inappropriate parts of their life. Like, this man is just inserting himself. When Michael approaches him about conning him and trying to get him to make food for him to eat, he realizes that it was a part of the lesson to learn how to drive a stick shift. So he gets to drive all throughout the parking lot. Yay! Next thing you know, Zoey has to confront James about the fact that he loves her and she's not said anything back yet. A common trope in teen sitcoms that I actually really like. It's definitely a big moment when you tell somebody you love them, and I feel like there's nothing more important when you're in a relationship at this age than that. You know, like, that is the highest authority. It's like the going steady of our generation. Zoey uses prom as an excuse to keep dodging James until she could figure out her feelings. But poor guy, He is not happy about this. We go back to Quinn and Logan, and what do you know? Cotton Swab Girl is the perfect candidate. So Logan asks Stacy to the prom. Something exactly what Quinn wanted. And I agree, that's like a great idea, and it doesn't make anybody uncomfortable. Logan seeks revenge and is like, okay, now I get to pick out your prom date. Guess who it is? It's Dustin. Can you imagine? So yeah, Dustin and Quinn are going to the dance together. James goes to talk to Zoey about what's been really going on, and she admits that she might not love him back and that there's something in the way. He's surprisingly patient. He's like, yeah, definitely. He's like such a gentleman in a way that I don't think any boy this age would actually be. Like, he's too respectful. And I'm dying to hear Zoey say she misses Chase. Like, I feel like that's the whole thing she's getting at, but it doesn't end on that. It ends on them breaking up, and that's kind of where we leave Zoey 101. Oh wait, there's one more episode. The grand finale of Zoey 101, Chasing Zoey Part 2. Before we go to the final episode, let's do a gameplay. So far, we're about to finish the season. We get barely any of Dustin this season. Nothing. Lola is in a relationship with Vince Blake. That was kind of random. Zoey had a relationship with James, but then they just broke up. That's also happening. Michael and Lisa are still together, and Quinn and Logan are still a secret. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be resolved in this episode, and a lot of stuff we're saying goodbye to overall in the whole show. This whole prom that they were talking about in the midst of the last episode is everything that the episode is leading up to now. Zoey's depressed about the breakup, which is cool because I never seen Zoey have a breakup before, you know? Like, it's definitely unfamiliar territory, and crazy that we're ending the show on an episode about something she's never been through. Like, I wish they just threw this in the plot. She's like definitely heartbroken and doesn't know what to do. Quinn and Lola are trying to cheer her up, but she says she doesn't even want to go to the prom. Dustin is getting way too old for this show, and you could tell because his voice has dropped significantly. He's here to take Quinn to the dance. For some reason, Quinn finds it necessary for one last time to throw a bomb at one of the robotics kids that are walking by. You remember them from the Robot Wars episode? Yeah, that's crazy. So everybody's gussied up and heading over to prom, and it's looking like a really sweet time. Dustin takes Quinn on his bike, and it is kind of adorable. I love how they are going to the prom together, and you get to see this moment in the opening title sequence. Oh my gosh, there's such a funny scene where Zoey isn't going to the prom, and the news guy hits on her, which is so ridiculous because he already has a prom date that is literally standing right there. So disrespectful.
I'll be your date?
You're taking Martha.
I'll get rid of her.
Jeremiah,
Yes?
go.
Lola is going to prom in a cab. It's kind of like a messy Uber driver situation where they have this driver, which should look familiar to you, talking on the phone the entire time and pretty much ruining their prom trip, not able to get them there at all. He abandons them on the side of the road. Guess who this man is? Yeah, that's Dan Schneider, the guy who created all of this stuff. I don't really want to talk about him because I feel like he doesn't deserve a lot of attention compared to the work he's done, but it is crazy to note that he's put himself in this. Literally, the finale of Zoey 101. And I don't think I knew this growing up. I definitely don't remember him being here. This is quite the surprise. But you know what? That's him. You could tell his voice. Finally, we've come to the final prom. We get a moment with every character dancing with one another. Oof, Mark Del Figolo's in it. That's a nice callback. And Dustin is way too short for Quinn, so it's just plain embarrassing. You guessed it, Logan is dancing with Stacy, and it's embarrassing. Lola and Vince are on this big escapade to get to the prom, and they even run into the robot nerds who convince them that it is the end of the world. Well, not convince them, they say it's the end of the world and just appear crazy, because it's not, you know? And we get a really big surprise. Zoey gets a call from an unknown number on her pair phone. Who is it? None other than Chase Matthews. So Zoey and him have a really intimate conversation while she's alone at PCA, and it's kind of romantic. They're flirting a little bit, and Zoey does a really good job at dodging the fact that she just had an entire relationship. Chase realizes that it's PCA's prom night, so why isn't she going? He falls off the cliff one last time, the same way he did when he approached Zoey in pretty much every season thus far. And the two have a moment on the staircase where they're just catching up for a bit and eventually kiss. Oh my gosh, I forgot about all of this. I don't know why I didn't remember them finally reconnecting. Maybe because it was like within a couple minutes of the episode, not really about about it that much. But like, this is such a big deal. Like, I like to see that it's finally getting its resolution. It has to do with Chase. I feel like Zoey kind of played him a little bit because she got in a whole new relationship right before she kissed him and didn't really talk to him about the relationship. It's really weird. Then we finally get the moment I've been waiting for, where Quinn and Logan are outed at the prom. It's really sweet because it's Logan's thing to say. He tells everybody that he's in love with Quinn, and it's very romantic. Like, all this stuff that was like low-key building up in this season definitely paid off in a really fulfilling way. I can't believe how exciting it is to see Chase again. Like, it definitely reminded me of that 70s Show's finale where Eric Foreman wasn't in the entire 8th season but came in for the last couple minutes just to reconnect with Donna, the main character. I don't know, it just seems like it's a really romantic trope, especially in sitcoms, and having every character be here for this, maybe chasing everybody one last time, it feels full circle. It kind of makes me feel disrespected again for James, because it's like, where is he? Michael's obviously super excited because he's been having traumatic repercussions of not having Chase around, and he has one last moment with the guy who taught him the stick shift, and he's really suspicious before he walks off on a goat or bull. I can't even tell what animal it is. All I know is that Michael is seen as crazy because Lisa does not believe he was taught to stick shift.
Would you please come tell my girlfriend that you really work here at PCA and that you taught me to drive a stick shift?
Oh, I can't do that
Why not?
because I do not exist.
But yeah, it seems like everybody that needed to get together got together, and it turned out okay for every character. Having them all reunite in the last couple of minutes is really wholesome. I feel like they did a good job at wrapping things up, especially considering how rocky of a ride the entire 4th season of Zoey 101 is. Like, we start out with Zoey and Chase having a long-distance relationship, then she gets in a relationship with somebody else. We stall for 10 episodes, they break up, they get together, and obviously there's some interesting things that go on in between it with Logan and Quinn, but this overall, like, such a good final way to end the series.
Wow. So yeah, those were the 2-part episodes of Zoey 101. We also had a 3-part episode in there, which I was not expecting. But yeah, I'm sure you guys remember all of this just based on the commercials and promos alone, that Zoey 101 was a primarily double episode driven show. The major plot points all happened at these moments. But which one was your guys' favorite? Please let me know down in the comments. And thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. It means so much to me that everybody's liking and sharing and even hyping up some of these videos. I put so much of my time into it, and to prove I'm not AI, I mess up a lot. So what can you do? Until next time, everybody, I've got some great videos coming out, so make sure you check out some of the ones that are already there, and I'll see you guys next time.